In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. These are their stories.
Henry Thompson, you're on trial for the extinction of the great auk. How do you plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Schuyler, you may make your case.
Henry Thompson, is it true that fishermen like yourself killed the great auk to extinction solely for the purpose of using its meat for food, oil for fuel, and feathers to make pillows?
Well, when we were fishing off the Icelandic coast, we would gather up those oversized birds and hunt them for provisions. Were not the reason that they went extinct.
Well, then what is the reason?
I blame the museums.
The museums? Why?
Well, because when the great auk's numbers were getting low, the museum started hunting them to preserve their skins, but did nothing to protect the actual bird.
Actually, the Nova Scotian government petitioned a ban to the British against killing all the great auks. However, fishermen like yourself petitioned against that ban.
Well, it never became a law, so it doesn't really apply to me now, does it?
Your Honor, I'm getting nowhere with this defendant. I'd like to call the great auk expert to the stand.
You may proceed.
Okay. Your Honor, here is the great auk expert, also named Henry Thompson, and I'm just going to ask him a couple more questions about the great auk. Mr. Thompson, can you please give a brief description of the species?
Yeah, so the Pinguinus Impennis, as it was called, was about 30 inches tall, weighed about 5 kilograms, had this pretty big black beak with up to 8 horizontal white stripes, classic penguin, black and white. They also reproduced, they were kind of mated for life. They reproduced about once a year, one egg a year on rocky shores on isolated islands, usually with the polar seawater. That's where they liked it.
Interesting. So that would be part of their habitat as well?
Yeah, so they were mainly focused in like the North Atlantic and Iceland, also some in Greenland, northern Canada, but they would winter as far south as like Spain sometimes.
Did they have any limiting factors?
Yeah, so they had to have their eggs on the shore, and then they were flightless birds like all penguins, so they really were pretty defenseless.
Interesting. What was their niche?
So they mainly hunted like larger fish in the area. So when they were kind of killed off by the fishermen, kind of let that population get out of control, but that actually helped out the fishermen because, they're fishermen. So.
What would you say caused the extinction of the great auk?
Oh, it was definitely just, the massive herding by fishermen of the great auk onto these boats. Mainly for bait or just meat when provisions were low. Like I said, they were pretty defenseless, so there wasn't much they could do. There was no natural predators though, so it was definitely the fishermen.
So you're saying that without the fishermen, the great auk population would not have declined as rapidly as it did?
Exactly.
Interesting. Your Honor, I rest my case. Your Honor, after this trial, and especially after hearing the great auk expert speak, I hope that you come to the right decision.
Schuyler, I've thought long and hard about this, and I've come to my decision.
What's your decision?
I find the fishermen guilty of the extinction of the great auk. Bailiff, take him away.
This is ridiculous.
That's it for this week's episode on Judge Houchin. Stay tuned for next week when we discuss Santa.